There's a make-believe story about a pot of gold being found at the end of a rainbow. If there is such a pot, it is in. The majority of the hustler would say, warm up the pot, keep the gold, and give us some pristine cocaine. Me and my homie had been hearing these tales about a gold mine in Lincoln, Nebraska. We had heard it over and over and over again. I mean, they was weighing it out about how much money they was making. And it became a time where it intrigued our intellect to just decide to up and go. You know, we had some homeboys that were putting down up there and they was grooving real good. So, you know, the jump would be kind of easy. So, you know, normally I wouldn't say too much, but the statute of limitations done ran out and I would drop this little jewel on y'all. We boarded a bus. I packed mine, packed my coke in my drawers. My homeboy packed his in his drawers. And we made the day and a half trip. When we got there, it was freezing cold. Freezing, I mean freezing cold too. Like it was about 5 degrees or something like that. When we got to the bus station, our ride wasn't there. So, you know, I went in to make a couple phone calls. And instantly, being the guys that we were, you know, we noticed some undercover police officers coming through the bus station. You know, my friend, I seen him ease out. And it's crazy how accurate this is. I seen him ease out. I knew. I was over faking like I was over on the phone. And I seen him ease out. I said, he going to get heels off him. Man, we rode too long. I was ready to get caught with it that night. I wasn't finna get mine off. So when he eased up on me and said, hey man, I went and got mine off of me. I couldn't do nothing but laugh. But anyhow, that blew over. Our homeboy pulled up. He took us to a nice warm house. I mean, it was so cold that you could have not showered for 2 weeks and nobody wouldn't have smelt you. But, you know, we went and did what we normally do. We went to go down the alley behind this lady's house that we were dropped off to bury the work. And we couldn't put it in the ground because the ground was too cold. So the next day we did our rounds, you know, and went and moved up and through the city. And one thing I could say, and this is the only place I ever been at like this, Lincoln, Nebraska was the cleanest city I ever saw. We didn't see not one piece of trash on the ground. So we was over to these apartments over there, and you know, we had heard the tales again, and I could drop the number on y'all that these boys were making like 5 bands off one zip. So I had 3, my homeboy had 3. That's 15 apiece. So when we got there, man, and went to seeing this money coming in and seeing what they was giving people for $50, man, I mean, I'm talking about, it was like a smidge, man. I'm talking about like what we were selling in Florida for $10 or $5, it was going for $50 up there. So we got a chance to actually put eyes on that. So the money was moving, you know, kind of good early on. And we had heard a few things about a homeboy, and it seemed like this crazy. A homeboy always seemed to be the one kind of detrimental to what the hustle might be. We was over to these girls' house, and we heard a knock at the door, and it was a loud braggadocio knock from somebody that we knew again from back home. And we was sitting in there watching Rap City. And when he came in, we like, boy, what's up, boy? What going on? I heard y'all was in town, boy. I know y'all got it. I know y'all ain't came way up here and you ain't got nothing or whatever, blah, blah. I was like, man, we'll holler at you, bro. He was like, man, how long it gonna be, man? Cause I need me something, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't try to be moving around here and you ain't getting up with me, man. Get up with me, whatever. So we had already heard what was going on with him. We had a homeboy to try to send him something through the mail. And when the mail got there, it was actually an FBI agent. And the FBI agent, you know, knocked on his door. I guess he was in there sleeping or something, I'm hearing, and he missed the mail truck. And him getting up kind of late, a few minutes behind, he jumped up to run behind the mail truck. When he ran behind the mail truck, it was the feds. They popped him. So we knew not to mess with him. Anyhow, you know, we end up getting the money moving around or whatever. And, you know, we started to get some little kinks at the end because after we got like maybe like $12,000, $13,000 a piece off the work, You know, we were still trying to scrap up them little tools and fuels before we hit the road. Anyhow, we went to moving around a little bit more. And then after we moved around, we went to a club called Kaboom's. And when we went to the club called Kaboom's, we actually ran into the guy. It was a white guy. It was a white guy that our homeboy set up after that mail truck debacle. You understand? So, you know, it was crazy. And the guy even went to his car and showed us the actual paperwork with our homeboy name on that. So, you know, moving through Nebraska, whatever, you know, and going to all these different places or whatever, and seeing how the money was, it was just so cold though. So one crazy thing happened, trying to scrap up that last little bit of money before we left. We had a homeboy to step up to try to act like he was a gorilla. And, you know, moving around. If I see something one time, I know how to go back to it. You understand what I'm saying? But we rode around and got to the neighborhood where he had took us at. And when we got where we were going at, I went and knocked on the door. And when I went and knocked on the door, and asked for the guy to try to get them last little 3 or 4 grand up, you understand? The girl was like, he ain't here. But I noticed when I looked into the living room, I seen his jacket. So I pushed my way in, and by now my homeboy was there. You know, we wail in Nebraska, we ain't got no fire. So we went in there and grabbed a knife out of the kitchen. Went in and grabbed the knife, cause by now he coming in the room faking like, what y'all doing in here, with his hand behind his back, like he got a pistol or something. But you know, ain't nothing happened. We ain't end up getting the money or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? But that was something crazy. And then on the way out, we bumped into another homeboy that was from a small town where I'm from, on the outskirts of Sister City called Pahokee. He told us, he was like, bro, y'all get from up here, man. Y'all get from up here, bro. He said, man, y'all gonna get 1,000 years up here, bro. Because he had like a leg monitor on his on his leg, on his right leg. And he was telling us something. And we were sitting there, and I knew it was time to go. When we were sitting there, and on his TV, it had Nebraska's Most Wanted. When I seen a guy where I'm from that's pretty much like an angel, this guy ain't never got in no trouble, they had him on Nebraska Most Wanted, I know we was in the wrong place.